There are TV shows that were #1 in the ratings. Everybody watched them. Everybody talked about them. They dominated Monday nights, Thursday nights, Sunday nights, and then one day, gone. Not canceled, not ended, just erased from the culture like they never existed. What happened? How does a show go from the biggest thing on television to completely forgotten in 5 years? Here are the most dramatic disappearances in TV history. Empire. In January 2015, it exploded onto our screens, a Shakespearean drama set in the world of hip-hop. And for a moment, it felt like the biggest thing on television. At its peak, Empire wasn't just a show, it was a genuine phenomenon. It arrived at a time when network television was supposedly dying, hemorrhaging viewers to streaming services. Empire proved that theory wrong. The first season premiere drew an impressive 9.9 million live viewers. A solid start, but what happened next was unheard of in modern television. For 12 consecutive weeks, its audience grew. It was the first show in over 2 decades to see its ratings go up every single week of its first season. By the finale, it was pulling in over 17 million live viewers. And at the center of it all was Cookie Lyon. Taraji P. Henson's portrayal of the Lyon family matriarch, fresh out of prison and ready to reclaim her throne, made her the most quotable, memeable, and talked about character on television. The show's success wasn't just on screen. The music, produced by Timbaland, was a legitimate force, with the first season's soundtrack debuting at #1 on the Billboard charts, knocking Madonna out of the top spot. It was a cultural event every Wednesday night, dominating the social media conversation. Then, almost as quickly as it rose, it fell apart. The writing got sloppy and inconsistent. Storylines started recycling the same beats. Another hostile takeover, another long-lost family member, another brush with death. The show began chasing shock value over character development. The music, once a key ingredient, stopped hitting with the same cultural impact. Off-screen drama, most notably the Jussie Smollett scandal in Season 5, cast a long shadow over the production, forcing last-minute rewrites and creating a PR nightmare that further alienated viewers. By Season 6, viewership had plummeted to under 2 million. The series finale, which was itself cut short by the pandemic, aired in April 2020. A show that once commanded the attention of 17 million people limped to the finish line, and almost nobody noticed. A show that defined a moment in black television that felt like a revolution. Gone. It went from a cultural earthquake to a whisper in just 5 years. So what happened? In its quest to stay on top, the show tried to be everything to everyone. It crammed in guest stars, murders, amnesia, and corporate espionage until it became a caricature of itself. Every season added more outrageous twists until the twists became the only thing holding it together. A flimsy scaffold around a hollow core. When the twists stopped surprising people, there was nothing left underneath. Heroes. The first season of Heroes was legitimately one of the best seasons of television in the 2000s. 14 million viewers. Critical acclaim. Water cooler conversation every week. Save the cheerleader. Save the world. It was the superhero show before superhero shows took over everything. Then the writer's strike hit during Season 2, and the show never recovered. Season 2 was short and unfocused. Season 3 was incoherent. Season 4 was a mercy killing. NBC brought it back in 2015 as Heroes Reborn, and nobody watched. The original cast had moved on. The magic was gone. The lesson? A TV show's momentum is fragile. One bad season can undo years of goodwill. The audience doesn't wait for you to figure it out. Glee. For a few glorious years, Glee wasn't just a TV show. It was a full-blown cultural phenomenon, a genuine movement. It took the earnest, often mocked world of high school show choir and transformed it into must-see, appointment television. It was vibrant, optimistic, and it arrived with a sound that was completely unique on the primetime landscape. At its absolute peak, following the Super Bowl, it pulled in over 26 million viewers. But its dominance wasn't just on television. The music was a juggernaut. The cast became a virtual hit factory, dominating the iTunes charts and breaking records previously held by legends like Elvis and the Beatles for the most songs to ever chart on the Billboard Hot 100. They sold out international concert tours, filling arenas with screaming fans. There was merchandise everywhere. Glee single-handedly made show choir cool, sparking a real-world resurgence in arts programs across the country. It was a truly impressive and seemingly unstoppable cultural achievement. But then, the show's creator, Ryan Murphy, seemed to shift focus, chasing sensational headlines instead of coherent stories. Every week became a heavy-handed issue episode, tackling a new social problem with the subtlety of a sledgehammer. The narrative suffered from whiplash. New characters were introduced and then abandoned without a second thought. Relationships that made no sense were forced together purely for shock value, alienating the very fans who had championed the original couples. As the original cast started to graduate and leave, the show lost its core. By the final season, the once mighty ratings had collapsed, dropping below 2 million viewers. But the show's decline was tragically compounded by real-world heartbreak. The shocking death of star Corey Monteith during the show's run, and later the tragic loss of Naya Rivera, cast a permanent shadow over its legacy. The joy that defined Glee became inextricably linked with pain. For many, the sadness makes it impossible to revisit. Unlike its contemporaries from the era, Glee has a muted afterlife on streaming, a joyful memory that now hurts too much to rewatch. Desperate Housewives. 23 million viewers for the series premiere in 2004, the biggest new show of the year. Wisteria Lane was the most famous fictional street on television. The mystery of Mary Alice Young hooked everyone. For 2 seasons, it was appointment television. Then the mysteries got weaker. The new neighbors every season felt formulaic. The time jump in season 5 confused people. By the final season, viewership had dropped to under 10 million. The show ended in 2012, and within a year, it was like it never existed. Nobody references Desperate Housewives anymore. Nobody rewatches it. Nobody cosplays as Brie Van de Kamp. It simply evaporated. Scandal. For a moment in time, Olivia Pope was everything. Portrayed by the magnetic Kerry Washington, she was a cultural icon, a force of nature in a pristine white coat. Here was a black woman running Washington, D.C., a gladiator in a suit who fixed the unfixable problems of the nation's elite. She commanded every room she entered, armed with a brilliant team and monologues that could cut glass. The show was pure, high-octane adrenaline. Scandal premiered in 2012 to a strong 10 million viewers, but that was just the beginning. By its 3rd season, it was a certified juggernaut, pulling in over 12 million viewers. It became the anchor of Shonda Rhimes' legendary Thursday night empire on ABC known as TGIT, alongside Grey's Anatomy and How to Get Away with Murder. The show didn't just air, it exploded online. The cast and creators actively live-tweeted every episode, creating a revolutionary, interactive social event that made appointment television feel vital again. But then, the show's central pillar began to crack. The Olivia Pope character started making decisions the audience couldn't root for. Her moral compass shattered. She went from being the fixer to being the problem, orchestrating kidnappings, rigging elections, and embracing the very darkness she once fought. As Olivia descended, the plots became so convoluted that even the most dedicated fans felt lost. The once thrilling political chess game devolved into a chaotic mess of secret spy agencies and unbelievable twists. The narrative whiplash was exhausting. The audience that once flocked to the show began to flee. By its final season, Scandal was averaging under 5 million viewers, a fraction of its peak. When it ended in 2018, there was no cultural moment, no trending hashtags, no nostalgic farewell. Just a quiet, unceremonious exit. The show that literally invented live tweeting television couldn't even trend on its own finale night. 2.5 Men. This one might be the most dramatic collapse on the list. At its peak with Charlie Sheen, the show was pulling over 28 million viewers. It was the #1 comedy on television for years. Then Charlie Sheen imploded publicly, got fired, and was replaced by Ashton Kutcher. Here's the thing, the show survived. It kept getting decent ratings for a while, but the magic was the Charlie character. Without him, the show was a skeleton wearing a Hawaiian shirt. By the final season, ratings had dropped to under 10 million. The series finale was widely considered one of the worst in television history. A show that was once the most watched comedy in America ended with a piano falling on a character. That's not a joke. That's literally what happened. Now here's the pattern that connects every single one of these shows. None of them got canceled because someone pulled the plug. They all died slowly. The audience left one viewer at a time. And in every case, the show started chasing something. Rating stunts, shock value, new cast members, outrageous twists, instead of protecting the thing that made people fall in love with it in the first place. The shows that don't disappear, Breaking Bad, The Office, Friends, they all ended while people still wanted more. They left the audience hungry. The shows on this list stayed too long. They answered every question, exhausted every storyline, and gave the audience permission to stop caring. If you want to hear more breakdowns like this, shows that died, careers that collapsed, moments that changed pop culture forever, subscribe. New rankings drop every day. Hit subscribe and I'll see you tomorrow.